Perfect. Technical issues this morning. So, quick introduction. If we've never met, my name's Melissa. I'm an executive coach and a management consultant. And what I do is I work with leaders such as yourself, and I help them build high-performing teams, and I help them step into a style of leadership that fits for them, that's both effective without compromising what they value, and be able to care for their employees. So imagine not having to choose between being effective, being direct and effective, and being empathetic and caring. You can have both. So today, joining me is Kelsey Ann. Kelsey Ann is part of my team. Kelsey Ann, who are you?
I am your marketing director and kind of a Jill of all trades around here. I'm your right hand, and just try to pick up pieces that you need help with and do things differently.
Mm-hmm. And we do things differently as a team at In Charge Coaching. On our team, things run differently, and everything that that I teach, everything that I help my clients with, I actually live. We live these things. So Kelsey Ann makes it sound like, oh, she just does this, but actually she's the reason that we're live today. She's the reason that we have a really exciting opportunity to share with you today. So if you are dealing with low performing employees and you want to know how to deal with them, I have a really exciting offer that we'll be able to talk about at the end of today's video. But she does a lot of things. And she comes on these lives with me so that she can talk about her experience and the employee's perspective on things, because it's one thing for me to tell you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, but the only person that can really attest to the result of that is the employee, right? The impact of leading in such a way. So performance. Okay, let's talk about low performance. So as I'm saying this, Kelsey Ann, like what to do when you have a low performing employee, and there is no right answer to this question.
Yeah.
What are the first things that what are the thoughts that come to your mind? As an employee?
As an employee, run and hide.
Run and hide. Somebody's going to try to control me.
Just not, I guess, having clear expectations of what you're supposed to do as an employee, how you're being portrayed, not really knowing where the other person is coming from. Like, is this going to be used for good? Is this going to be used against me? How, like the politicking, and you don't really know, right? Sometimes where the other person is coming from.
Yeah. And it's really interesting, all the points that you're bringing up here, because as leaders, when we think about low performance, performance management, sometimes we get to think in this like black and white, like there's the thing to do, just do the thing. And I'm going to tell you to do the thing, and then I'm going to be frustrating that you're not doing the thing. And it seems so simple. But what you've just shown us is it's not so simple. There is a lot of things behind that low performance. There's a lot of things under the surface. And there's a quote that I really, really love, and I'm just going to pull it up to make sure that I don't mess it up. It's a quote by Grace Hopper, and it says, "You manage things and you lead people," right? You manage things, you manage your projects, you manage your calendar, you manage your appointments, you move things from here to here. Everything is easy and rational. But when it comes to leadership, it's one thing to move, to put a project outline together, and it's another thing to get people to engage with that plan, to get them to do the things. At that point, you're stepping into leading people. And leading people is not done from that rational, just do it place. We need to reach people where it counts. If we want people to show up, to be their best, to be engaged, to want to do good work, that comes from an emotional place,
Mhm.
right? So managing leadership, we manage things and we lead people, and people are emotional beings, and they're making decisions on their behavior based on how they feel, based on their interpretations of things. We have to consider what they fear. You talked about some fear. If we have this conversation, perspective, I don't know what the expectations are. What are the expectations? That's one of the biggest questions employees have, is I'm not clear on the expectations. We believe as leaders that employees know what we know, but they don't. They don't, unless we are expressing them in a very clear fashion. Do not do the read between the lines. Well, I kind of said it 3 times and over the last 3 years. No, that's not enough, right? So what's coming up now, Kelsey Ann, as I'm talking about this?
Well, I kind of snickered because, especially in corporate, it's been a few years since I've been there, but in a lot of businesses, and there's the perception that you leave emotions at the door, you leave your feelings at the door, right? Emotions don't belong here. This is just and it's ironic, not so ironic, but like that, that's what is the most important. You're saying to check out of something that you could use, leaders can use to actually do the opposite, but you're saying, no, we don't even want to go there, because people don't know.
And we want, in businesses, we want engagement, right? We've come to this place, engagement is important. If you don't have it, it hurts. It hurts.
Hurts your bottom line, absolutely.
It hurts your bottom line. It hurts your well-being. It hurts your ability to be productive, to have quality work delivered. It hurts. It's hard to deliver to customers and keep your customers happy if you don't have that engagement. Well, guess what engagement is? Engagement is emotional commitment to effort. Right? So if you want your employees to want to be there, to want to do good work, to care about their work, right? These are all feeling words: caring, trusting, excitement about work, wanting to deliver, caring about these things. These are all emotional things. And so we can't neglect that human part if we want performance. All right. So if you've been struggling with this, you are not alone. I do this every day, and I work with leaders day in and day out who are struggling with this. And I help them design a path forward for how to work with these employees in a way that transforms them from disengaged or non-performing to being rock stars, to being their best allies, getting the work done, caring about doing the work. And I have a special 5-day workshop that I'm doing for absolutely free in 2 weeks' time. So starting September 18th, where I'm going to walk you through and help you design your own process. I'm going to show you my process, and then you're going to be able to fill in the blanks and customize it to what's going to work for you and your unique situation. So if you are currently in a situation with low performing employee, you have been in the past and you want to know what to do in the future, or maybe you're just stepping into leadership and you know that this is going to be something that will eventually deal with, and you will eventually deal with it, guys. If you're not dealing with it right now, it will come up. So if you want to be ready for that, this is completely free. It's 1 hour a day to make it super bite-sized. And here's what we're going to cover. So over the period of 5 days, one, we're going to dive into what is engagement, and recognizing the early signs of disengagement so you can stop disengagement before it becomes a problem. Okay. The best time to take action is before the problem has arisen. You will save yourself a ton of time, a ton of headache, heartaches, and conversations that we really don't want to be having. All right. Number two, I'm going to give you a framework so you can actually assess the situation that's happening right now with this employee. So you'll be able to gauge how much effort you're going to have to put into this situation, what is the right approach, and what is the potential of turning this around. Not every situation is meant to be saved. Okay, I've learned this the hard way. Have you ever experienced hanging on too long? I have. Years and years and struggling and complaining and it's never gonna end, and to realize that this is not going away, right? So you can actually identify that and know when it's time to walk away. I've had many people take this workshop and they were in situations where they thought they were walking away. They thought they had to let the employee go. And they realized through this framework that actually I can work with this. And actually, if I change my approach, and before the 5 days were done, they were able to turn the situations around. So even if you think it's a lost cause, a lot of people come to this workshop, they're on that last leg, like, I've tried everything, nothing's working. This is my last ditch hope, right? And they're able to use it and actually do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And third thing is I'm going to walk you through my 3-step influence system. So we talked about that emotional piece, right? Employees are making decisions based on their emotions. So I'm going to show you how to actually influence them, work with that part of the brain that will help that collaboration working together to transition to them being able to excel, rather than keep hitting up against them rationally and not getting anywhere. So that's going to pave the way for you to instead of having like those hard conversations that we're all avoiding. I was the queen of avoiding hard conversations right here. I don't anymore. I fully lean into them because now they're not hard. Now they're transformative. Now we go through them and end up feeling so much better. And there's almost like an appreciation. And Kelsey Ann, we've had lots of conversations and we have them often. So the thing is we've gotten so used to having those kinds of conversation, those transformative conversations. How do you experience them? Because I have my own experience and I'll talk to that, but what about you? What is your experience?
I think my experience is just I've learned to be open, and we're very direct.
Yeah.
And clarity is kindness, right? We're not sugarcoating anything. We're talking about what we're actually talking about. We're not, there's no hidden secrets. There's no manipulations. There's none of that, right? What we're talking about is what we're talking about. And there's, it alleviates that stress as an employee to know, okay, you as my employer aren't going to use this information against me in any which way. You just want it. It's just data. It's just information. And we're both trying, you always make it very clear that we're always working towards the same goal, right? Where are we going? This is where we're going. We need to get here. How are we going to do this together? And then sometimes we need to unpack, okay, what's going on? We're still trying to figure some stuff out, but without these conversations that, could be hard conversations, they're not, because they're direct.
Mm-hmm.
They can, leading up to it, sometimes it's like, like, I don't really know. I'm feeling kind of antsy about it, but it's just once we get into it, and then afterwards you're, how do you feel? I feel great. I feel better because I know where I stand. You know where I stand. And I know that alleviates a lot of your stress. when you know where everything stands.
Exactly. So I'm going to show you how to balance. What are the components to balance within the conversation so you can have that kind of direct conversation and strengthen the relationship at the same time. Right? That is really the goal. We're not sacrificing the relationship or the empathy in order to be direct and effective. And we're not sacrificing the directness or the effectiveness to be nice and caring.
Mhm.
Right? We're actually bringing in both in the conversation and balancing that out. So I'm going to walk you through what are the components and how I walk through those conversations. So if this sounds interesting to you, I'm hoping that you will join me for a beautiful 5-day experience that will be transformative. You will walk out, from that 5 days, really understanding a lot more about influential leadership and being able to step out of that manager role into more of that leadership role, which is going to make you a lot more effective. So that's happening September 18th, and maybe Kelsey Ann, you can help me with the details here. September 18th through to the 22nd. It's 1 hour a day. It's happening at 12 Eastern. So that means 1 p.m. So it's a late lunch for my Atlantic folks. It's an early lunch for Central folk. And I believe it will be breakfast for people on the West Coast.
Yes.
So we're maximizing all time zones, and it's 1 hour. So you can come, you can bring lunch, show up as you are, spend an hour, and you can get right back to work without missing anything. And the beautiful thing is everything that you're learning, you're going to be able to apply in your conversations. As you're walking out of that session, you can start applying it. So you're seeing results in real time. And then we stack on day to day to day.
I think that's the exciting part too, is when the leaders are there and they've discussed a problem, on Monday, and then by Friday, they've learned, they've been using what you're teaching them, and they use it, and we hear about it all week and see the transformation happening. That's exciting.
Exactly. So I'm excited. There's about 500 leaders that have gone through this workshop. If you've gone through it before, you know how amazing it is. Some people like to repeat, they come back. Bring your leadership team with you. Bring your fellow leaders, because it can be a really amazing learning experience to go through together. On day 1 of the workshop, you're going to be receiving your blueprint. So I give away a workbook with everything you need to design your path forward. And the workbook is an amazing asset. Leaders bring it back to their teams. They use it for coaching. They use it for designing interventions, and they use it for teaching other leaders. So they use it as, training and development or mentorship. So lots of amazing things happening September 18th. Register now. Kelsey Ann, can you drop in the comments? Perfect. So the link will be in the comments. There is limited seating, so grab your seat. It is free. Invite your fellow leaders along with you. And we'll see you as of September 18th. Bye, everyone.